Well, it may feel like yesterday, but that was 100 days ago. President Trump set a very ambitious agenda for his first 100 days in office with Republican control of both chambers of Congress. He'll mark that milestone Saturday with a rally in Pennsylvania. For some perspective on how he's doing and the significance of the first 100 days, let's bring in Lara Brown, an associate professor and interim director of George Washington University's Graduate School of Political Management. Thank you so much for joining us, Lara.
Thank you, Elizabeth. It's great to be here.
We have to thank, or not thank, probably FDR for the first 100 days benchmark. It's really become a staple with every administration, and obviously with this one being almost 100 days, we've heard about it quite a bit. Yes. Your opinion as a professor, perhaps, is that it could be a little bit of a trap for a president. Why so?
Well, what it does is it sets up the expectation that you can move all of government much more quickly than government was designed to move. And I think that while it allows for these sort of great campaign promises, what it really does is put too much pressure into the system, you know, to create these accomplishments. And what usually ends up happening is there's just a lot of activity. If presidents don't know how to essentially set a clear agenda and then expand out their timelines and sort of change the expectations focus to really more being about the first year, they end up with all of these kind of media reports that say they're failing.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does it become a weapon in the sense that someone's winning and someone's losing, and if you're on the other side of the party, you can see what you're going to be against, so you are automatically going to be against it, even if it's something that perhaps you would negotiate on. So it's a weapon not just for the media, but also for the other side of the aisle, in this particular case, is Democrats.
Yes, and I think that what we have seen lately with the partisan polarization is that there is this assumption from the opposition party that if they can just obstruct for those 100 days, then in fact they've derailed the entire presidency. And that is a really unhelpful kind of assumption, because what it means is that really no legislation is moving forward and helping the American people.
But this isn't exclusive to the Trump administration.
No, it is not. We have seen this sort of ramped up after
the Obama administration.
The Obama administration, after their win in 2008. You also actually saw this with President Bush's win in 2004. In his second sort of first 100 days, he came in with this head of steam, and a lot, you know, ended up getting derailed around Social Security reform because they didn't build the coalitions necessary, and they assumed they could do it all with political capital. Okay,
so can the tone be shifted? Let's say, you know, this week maybe not everything goes exactly the way the Trump administration wants it to go. Can the tone be shifted in the sense that it is very different before office and actually getting in office? Like you mentioned, governing. It is not easy, and not all presidents, even if they have a political background, really grasp that once you get in office, you're dealing with members of Congress, you're dealing with the courts. It's a lot to handle, a lot to juggle.
It is, and really the presidents who've been the most successful have been those presidents who understood sort of where the levers of power were. The most difficult part about where we are is that when you start on a very partisan note, it's difficult, if you will, to drink the water once you've poisoned the well. So there is this problem where we saw, you know, President Barack Obama essentially initially pushing back on Eric Cantor, who was then majority leader, the minority leader, in fact. And you now see this sort of with President Trump, right? They started on these very partisan notes. So how do you then go get the opposition party to be with you? And I don't think that President Trump's sort of demands about the border wall are necessarily helpful to, you know, move forward on this idea that maybe there can be some bipartisan tax reform eventually down the road.
Yeah, business environment is different from a political environment.
It is.
Lara Brown, thank you so much. Very interesting as we approach this huge deadline for this administration.
Yes, it is.
We'll have you back.
Thank you, Elizabeth.